Hey guys, Apex here, and I just want to say it from the very beginning of the video so nobody's time is wasted here. This is not my usual kind of video where I have some gameplay and music. You know, a video made for entertainment purposes, which 99% of my videos are. This is a video where I wanted to relay some relevant information, give some updates, and answer a couple of questions that have been asked lately. So if you're not interested to hear any of that, just feel free to go on ahead and click on and watch something else. But yeah, I did want to make a video out of this to get that over with rather. So yeah, and I will be doing the entire video in voice because according to the majority of my subscribers and friends and stuff, it's preferable to get a lot of information and stuff through voice instead of, walls and walls of text. So I will be doing it all in voice, so you can listen to it while you're doing something else, like a radio show or a podcast or something. And another good reason to do it in voice is because, according to the people that hate me, they say it's fucking cringe to listen to me speak. Their words, not mine. Not that I know why they're watching my videos in the first place if they hate me so much. But yeah, I'd say that if they are watching my videos, which they seem to be, I guess that's a good second reason, because now they can be all cringy and stuff. So yeah, I just wanna get two things said before we get started with the real video here. First of all, I am giving away 6 codes to this month's Archeage creator promotion thing. So this month it's 6 codes for something called Vero weapon skins. If you don't know what that is, it's Vero has weapon skins for all kinds of weapons in the game. So you can, if you have a weapon you want to skin with this, you can enter in the competition here and you have a chance to get it. If you don't know what it looks like, you can either Google, Archeage Vero weapon skin maybe, or you can go on auction house in game and just search for Vero. I'm sure there are a fair bit of them on auction house. They usually are. So yes, if you want a chance to be in this competition, you just write a comment in the comment section below. Say what you want about the video, and be sure to add your in-game name. That's important. So when I then pull the winners, I can contact you on an in-game mail and give you that code. This means that only people from Conviction can participate in this competitions, because I wouldn't be able to send the codes in in-game mail to other servers, obviously. So yeah, this one is just for this server I play on. So I apologize to my subscribers from other servers. I'll be sure to make the next giveaway, all server wide. So yeah, you just write a comment, say what you want about the video, and add your in-game name. It's important. And then if you're a winner, you'll get an in-game mail. Let's see what date is it today. It's the 24th. I probably won't upload it until 25th. So let's say Friday 27th. Yeah, Friday the 27th of April. I'll pull 6 winners, and you'll be mailed in-game mail if you were a winner. So make sure you add your in-game name here. And you just go to the Archeage website to redeem the code, and it gives you this wrapped gift package thing that you just open, and then you can select which weapon skin you want from it. So you're given a universal thing that can go into any weapon skin. Yeah, okay, so that's that. And the second thing I just wanted to mention real fast is a little shout out to my good friend Rax from Disaster, who I found something interesting on a few weeks ago when I was looking through the top rankings. Rax, it's if you're watching this, it seems you've forgotten to temper your main hand weapon. I mean, it's a tier 7 legendary, and it's untradeable, and it's gemmed, so I assume you are using it. But yeah, you have forgotten to temper it, so that's like up to 18% less damage. I mean, come on, man, you had one job. So I didn't want to say anything back then when I saw it, because I thought maybe you had just gotten it or something. But it's been weeks now, Rax, so it's getting embarrassing. So if any disaster, or maybe Rax watching it himself, please please tell him to temper the weapon, because it's getting a little silly here. Alright, so now that that is out of the way, let's get started with the real video. Alright, so I have three main topics here I wanted to talk about and address. First of all, I've been asked a lot why I've been playing less lately, so that's the first one. Second of all, I've been asked a lot about the 4.5 skill changes, where I think my builds fit in there, and what changes I've made and stuff, and what I think about the skill changes in general. So that's number 2. And number 3 is I'm gonna give out some updates about our plans for the future on the server, and if we're happy or not, and yeah, just share some future plans and thoughts and stuff. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, I have not been playing any less. If anything, I've played a little more than usual. I've just probably seemed probably been more invisible, because I assume most people see me at either events or partying, which I haven't done much of lately, and that is because of the 4.5 skill changes. After we saw the patch notes for 4.5 a couple of weeks before the patch actually came, we saw that like our main way to make money, which was running cargo packs, was gonna get nerfed, because it's now harder to make the tier 1 packs. So we assumed less people would do it, so there would be less tier 2 and tier 3 packs to run. So we stacked up on charcoal a lot. We assumed that would go up in price, which it has, and also just kind of got a lot of gold and stuff, because at least I for one saw that I had to make a lot of changes to my build to stay relevant in this. So yeah, the time before the patch was just spent making gold and charcoal and stuff, so I didn't do too much partying and PvPing and just stuff for fun. I was just kind of working. And after 4.5 I've also just been really busy with skill changes and changing my gear and stuff. So yeah, I have not been any less active. I've just probably kept to myself a lot, because I've been busy with my own stuff here. I feel like the last month or two I've just been working in Archeage. So yeah, which brings us to number 2, what I think about the 4.5 skill changes and stuff. And you know, there are tons of changes to talk about. Skill trees, almost all the skills were changed, or they were moved into other skill trees. Combos were changed, the effects were changed, CC, etc. So it's a real clusterfuck, and I'm the kind of person that likes to make something from scratch. You'll never see me go into faction chat or in the forum and ask like, hey guys, what's the best build now? Hey guys, what are you guys playing? Can somebody link me the new meta build? You'll never see me do that, because I think a big part of the fun in a game like this is making your own build from scratch. So with a big revamp like this, that's what I've been doing. So I've been testing so many skills. I've gone through all the skills, what the effects they do, the CCs, the combos, how much damage, which skill trees work with which and stuff. So I've just done a ton of testing, and I've made spreadsheet upon spreadsheet, you know, Excel spreadsheet, Word spreadsheets, just a lot of. I have several documents I have several documents dedicated to this skill change, because I go balls deep in that stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. I love making new builds and changing gear and stuff, so I think 4.5 has been fun. What is frustrating for me though is that the class I used to play, which was a pretty tanky class, and it was tanky because of block and parry being pretty strong, and I had stacked up a lot of it. Which they have now nerfed extremely hard. Both block and parry are nerfed so hard now that I had to find a new way to stay tanky if I wanted to keep playing that. They've also made it easier to get crit and crit damage. You know, for melees now we have crit rate comes with strength, the same way as crit rate for a mage came intelligence and agility, had it for archers. So, you know, most people that had high crit rate, they were high into agility. So the people that have high strength now has a lot of melee attack and a lot of crit rate. So basically, I would say they buffed being offensive, you know, giving us easy access to crit and also crit damage, because you can now could put crit damage in your bow and both your weapons if you're dual wielding. So yeah, I think they buffed being offensive and they nerfed being defensive. And I played a defensive class. So I started looking at it from scratch. What do I want to do now? Do I want to keep playing keep playing defensively, try to find a way to do that, or go bursty, you know, squishy, offensive? I tried out being offensive, and it is fun to deal a lot more damage than I'm used to doing. I spec'd into the, you know, offensive class and change underwear and costume and stuff like that to see what it would be like, and it is fun. The problem is just that first of all, I've always liked the survival aspect of the game in all the MMOs I've played. If you go back and look at gameplay from the other MMOs I've been playing, I've always liked the survival aspect, being tanky, being able to stay alive. So I didn't want to play offensive more than defensive. But another thing is that we are, and when I say we, I mean Platinum and I, because I often talk about we because we play a lot together. We are Europeans, so playing on a North American server, we have really bad ping. It's usually around 230, 240 for me, and playing offensive then is it's extra hard. Being tanky mitigates a little bit of it, so it's a little beneficial to be defensive for us, because if you're offensive and you get stun locked, or you want to get out of a hotspot and you want to use your invis glider or teleport, just something to get out of it, we have to deal with that 240 ping. So whatever skill or glider, whatever we use, has a short delay to it, and if you're squishy, you know, that's gonna kill you in a lot of instances if you have a delay doing something that will get you out of trouble. So being defensive is a little better for someone with high ping to play. So I tried to find a way to stay tanky, and I've kept working with it. I've changed so many things. I've changed costume, underwear, a couple of armor pieces. I've migrated some of my stat points a little around. You know, I changed accessories. I've really tried to keep staying tanky, and I think I've reached a point now where I feel decently tanky. Probably still not as tanky as before. I'll keep working on it though and see if it's possible, even, because it's completely possible, but that with the crit rate and crit damage we have now versus block and parry being nerfed, it's not possible anymore to be super tanky. So there's that. Also, I've heard a lot of people complain about melees being very weak this patch. To show you the skill calculator I've been using, you can see the URL up here if you want to go there and play around. I've played a lot with this, you know, as well as writing up combos and effects and all that stuff. So yeah, the basic argument for that is because Tiger Strike and Behind Enemy Lines have been nerfed extremely hard. Have you tried using Tiger Strike, you know, the triple version? It deals so little damage now, it's laughable. And same with Behind Enemy Lines. I tried it and I was just, when I landed with it, like, oh my god, it's so weak. So yeah, melee has been nerfed, there's no question about it. You can still deal damage with it though, because and I don't think it's because melee has been buffed at all. Whirlwind Slash and Thunder Earth and Precision Strike still deal decent damage, but I think the biggest change is that because block and parry has been nerfed so hard now, it's way easier to apply effects, because although if you block and parry, an effect is still applied. and since it only takes away 40 and 60%, 40 for parry and 60% for block, you're still gonna deal damage through block and parry. So although melee in general, I would say, has been nerfed, you're still dealing decent damage because the defensive people have been nerfed. So although our melee class has lost some damage, the tanky people have lost their defense. And this doesn't affect mages, for instance, because block and parry had nothing to do against magic damage. So they've nerfed melee, but they've also nerfed what melee had a hard time fighting against, which was block and parry. So those two kind of add up. What is super strong now is archery, because archery has been buffed. Melee has been nerfed and archery has been buffed. And archery has the same thing. It fights against block and parry. But here's the thing. Although not only has archery been buffed, but I think what a lot of people haven't realized yet is that you can't both block and parry against an archer. At least not as I can see it. Because you gotta to parry against an archer, you need to have, let's see, I think it's this one. Whenever you have a dual weapons equipped, you parry. It also applies to ranged attacks. That means you need to dual wield to have parry rate, right? And if you have dual wield, you don't have block rating. You can't have block rating without a shield. So you can either choose a dual wield and have parry rate, or you can choose to have a shield and have block rate against an archer. So technically, an archer has an easier time fighting a tanky person now than a melee has, because melee has to deal with both block and parry. An archer only has to deal with block or parry, because you can't have both block and parry against a melee. No, against an archer, sorry. So not only that, but melee was nerfed, archery was buffed. So yeah, archers are really strong now. And if it wasn't because I had EU ping and my endless arrows seem more like a basic arrow, like all the skills are just so slow, I would probably have gone archer, because archer is a really strong spec now, and I think you could do some real damage with it, and I think it would be a lot of fun to play it. But alas, with 230, 240 ping, that's not gonna work. So I gotta stay melee. I could also have gone mage, but I've always preferred being melee, so it was, from the start, it was always archery or melee, and I ended up as melee. And now I would say probably archery is the best to play. I think it is the one that deals the most damage, and yeah, but we can't play that. We have too high ping. So yeah, I've been looking around what can be played and stuff, and like I said, you can still deal decent damage with melee because they nerfed defensive people. So although some of the skills here deal ridiculously little damage, you'll still deal decent damage with stuff like Whirlwind Slash, Thunder Earth, and some Shadow Play skills as well, because the defensive people have been nerfed. So yeah, if I would recommend going archery if you can that. But yeah, if you're gonna be melee like myself, there are some skill trees I would recommend, and there are obviously some obvious ones that you wouldn't pick. People have never combined archery with battle rage, and I've seen some. I think I've seen a pattern to it or formula. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it could be that to have a lot of melee skill, to have a lot of melee damage rather, you need a lot of strength. To have a lot of archery damage, you need a lot of agility. To have a lot of magic damage, you need a lot of intelligence. And at some point you're gonna have to pick which armor and weapon you want, giving one of those stats, because I like playing hybrid builds, but you have to understand that the other skill trees you have won't deal a lot of damage. Let me give you an example. Let's say I played with Battle Rage and Sorcery, which I did at some point just for fun. I thought it was fun doing Frigid Tracks and then the triple Tiger Strike, because that put them usually in a deep freeze you know. So that was easy combo, and I had a obsidian katana, so it was so I dealt decent damage, but you will not deal, you can't deal as much damage with two different skill trees like that, because either you have a lot of intelligence and your magic attack deals a lot of damage, also they have a lot better crit rate if you have intelligence, or you have a lot of strength and and that means your melee attacks will deal more damage and you have a higher crit rate. So you don't I would say it's a bad idea to combine the skill trees that deal a lot of damage, which are the three ones I've listed here: Battle Rage, Sorcery, and Archery. These are the main damage dealing skill trees. So combining these three, I think, is a bad idea. It can be fun to do and it's gonna work somewhat, but these three skill trees are made to do damage, and there's just no way you can deal a lot of damage with it, or at least not full damage with it, because you have to pick what you want to go into. If you want to deal a lot of battle rage damage, that's strength. If you want to deal a lot of sorcery damage, that's magic. If you want to deal a lot of archery damage, that's agility. And yes, you can stack both of them, but then you're kind of gimping each one of them. What's smartest is to invest fully into one thing. Of course, if you want to have stamina, be very tanky, of course, you know, you can probably mix and match a little better with these. But if you want to deal some damage, you know, you have to invest into strength, agility, or intelligence. So picking skill trees that deal a lot of damage and combining with them each other is probably a bad idea. So what you want to do when playing hybrid builds, and this goes for all these three skills, so this is something you can do with Battle Rage, Sorcery, and Archery. What you want to do is you want to have your main damage dealer, which will be Battle Rage in my pick here, but it could be also Archery or Sorcery. And you want to have, you know, a bunch of skills here that deal damage and stuff. So, you know, this one is what you deal most damage with. You're gonna be dealing a lot of Battle Rage damage. Then you pick supporting skill trees, because there's a thing as offensive and defensive skill trees, and the defensive ones often called supporting ones. For instance, occultism. Occultism, you're not going to deal a lot of damage with. It's made for CC. Same with Oromancy, that's made for defensive. These are support ones, so that's what you should pick in addition to the one that deals a lot of damage. Combining Battle Rage and Archery, for instance, then you have the problem of you can't have tons of strength and agility. But if you pick supporting ones, then it doesn't matter too much, because you'll be dealing your majority of the damage with Battle Rage, and then Occultism and Oromancy. Let's say I wanted to have these two, then these two skill trees would just be for CCs, and, you know, not for main damage. You would pick them for their CC effects, and not because they're dealing damage. So having full strength will deal a lot of damage for Battle Rage, and then it doesn't matter that Occultism and Oromancy doesn't deal so much damage, because they were picked for CC, not for damage. So that's how you want to go about combining these defensive or supporting skill trees with offensive ones. And that's why I will never put, or I did put these together at some point. Like I said, I did have Sorcery and Battle Rage, and my alt had Archery and Sorcery. It works somewhat, because you can do, you know, very good damage then with your main skill tree, and then you can do decent damage with, you know, your second one. But it's the little gimping to yourself. So I think the smartest thing to do is stick to, you know, your main damage dealer. You know, invest in either strength, agility, or intelligence, and then get your main damage dealing skill tree, and then have supporting ones to that. So for Battle Rage, this would mean basically anything that isn't Sorcery and Archery. So what I've been looking at, and first I'll actually root away what I haven't been looking at. Songcraft is a good one. There's a a lot of merit to playing what's it called, Blade Dancer. It's something Platinum's been playing around with now, and it does work as a hybrid build because Songcraft is not there to deal damage. You're dealing your damage with Battle Rage and Shadowplay. So he's having Shadowplay and Battle Rage to deal damage, and then Songcraft as a supporting skill set to boost that damage. And it definitely does work, and it's also popular to play Vitalism with this. That means you have a little heal, but your heals won't be great because you can't have a lot of spirit. So it meets a little bit that problem that archery, sorcery, battle rage has, that you can't stack one and have tons of it. So either you're gonna deal fair bit of battle rage damage, or you're gonna be a good healer and have vitalism. So personally, I don't like the healing system in this game, so I have not played around with vitalism, but it does work for sure. A build that I think is very good is a paladin. Very defensive, and you can also deal some damage and stuff. But I don't really like the healing system in this game. Also, I'm not going for super squishy here. So like I told you about before. So I have not looked at Songcraft either, because that one is pure offensive, I would say. I know very little about it, honestly. I don't want to learn it, to be honest. So what I have been looking at is Oromancy, Occultism, Shadowplay, Witchcraft, and Defense here. Those 5 skill trees are what I would combine with Battle Rage. And I would do the same thing if it was an Archer. I would combine it with one of those. Of course, Songcraft and Vitalism should still be on the table. I just don't personally like them, so I'm not gonna play around with them. But yeah, Vitalism and Songcraft, it definitely works. But for me, it's been the 5 skill trees that I listed that I played around with, and I don't know exactly which ones I will end up going with. I'm still playing around with it and stuff, but it will definitely be Battle Rage as the main damage dealer, and then have some supporting ones. Maybe I'll have Shadowplay as a second to deal somewhat more damage. But yeah, I'm still in a testing phase. So I've tested a lot at this point. I've tested for a couple of weeks, and I gotta say, there are a lot of builds that are working, and I always get a little bit triggered when I see somebody ask for the easy way out, and by that I mean asking forum or faction chat, hey, can you guys link me meta build? Hey, can you show me how what the best build is and stuff? Because I've always thought that there is no best build. First of all, I think you should make your own build because it's fun. But of course, if you don't think it's fun, then I guess go the shortcut and just copy someone else's build. But for me, making your own build has always been a huge part of the game, and I do this stuff for fun. So I'm definitely building a build from scratch. The second thing that triggers me a little bit when I hear it is because the answers you will get from people are just so... You're only gonna get generic answers, because people are stuck in this mindset that only the meta builds, the official meta builds, are gonna work. The Revenant, Skull Knight, Dark Runner, Spellsinger, those kinds of builds. Only those meta builds are gonna work. So if you suggest something like that isn't one of them, let's say I suggested Executioner to them, they would be like, no, that's shit, no, what the fuck are you thinking? Because people have this locked mindset that you gotta play the meta builds to be good, and I think it's such bullshit. So I always tell people, if they ask me directly, I tell them, think about what you wanna do. Like if you want to be doing PvE stuff or PvP, and like say, if you want to do PvP, what do you want to do? Do you want to be offensive? Do you want to be defensive? Do you want to be a frontliner? Do you want to be support, etc., etc.? And then choose based on that, and also what skill trees you like and stuff. I never had any intentions of just going for the meta build. When I started playing this game, I just picked what skills I thought sounded nice. I think I started with Occultism, like the first one. Then I got Battle Rage, and I don't remember the third one. But I just picked and tested, and trial and error. But what I ended up with was Blighter, Abolisher, Hexblade, Doomlord, several builds that people wouldn't consider meta, and I often got shit for it, like, whoa, what the fuck, why don't you play meta builds? You should play meta build, you're a moron. But that's just such bullshit, because I've beaten so many people that play these meta builds. I beat almost all of them. So it's definitely a matter of, you know, you just understanding your build and having experience with it and having the right gear for it, just practicing with it a lot, because I think most builds can work. So I really dislike it when people have this sheep mentality that only the meta builds will work. If you play anything else, you're a dumbass. So yeah, I haven't really decided what I'm gonna play yet, but this is how I'm thinking when I'm going through this. Battle Rage is a given, and then I have 5 skill trees that I'm thinking about combining with it. So yeah, that's what I've been busy with lately, just testing and just writing down combos, writing down effects, CCs, everything like that. And I'm real close to making some new builds. So yeah, went a little bit ranty there, but okay. So yeah, over to the... I think I covered everything here. Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna hate myself if I forget about it. But okay, yes, just... I hope I covered everything I wanted to talk about regarding the skills. Okay, so yeah, third item. I wanted to give some updates about our standing on the server, what we want to do, our plans for the future, etc. And once again, the we we're talking about is Platinum and I, because we play a lot together. And to take it from the start, Platinum and I have always had 2 things we mainly did for fun in the game. We've had a lot of things we did for, you know, silly fun here and there, everything from dungeons to little trolling, making some videos of fun and stuff, and maybe doing a world boss here and there, and role play. But our 2 main things have been fighting over content and pirating. And lately we've just done the latter. We've pirated a lot lately because we're enemies with all 3 player nations, and you know, West and a couple of East guilds. So in terms of pirating, we've never had so much to pirate. So we've had a lot of fun with that. The problem is we also like fighting over content, and we haven't done that since we were in VFU or Redrum, you know, while we were pirate. That's half a year ago now. We've not fought over content most of the game in Archeage. We've stuck to the smaller guilds or been ungilded and stuff. We were on Sulphira where Slayers reigned for like a year and a half, and we were invited to Slayers, but I don't think we were interested in doing it just because it was so easy to just do. You know, go be a part of the server, go be a part of the ones that free farm the server. Of course, we're both free to play, so our gear score would be even higher than they are now. If we had free farmed more. But yeah, we just stuck to ourselves, and I think that was a good investment in the long run, because that meant we had to learn how to move packs, you know, smart, because we couldn't call a bunch of backup, and it meant we had to learn how to pirate with few people, PvP with few people, and do a lot of things in the game here where just big guilds will just go surge it down. They don't have to learn, you know, to be individually good or be good with a small group, because they can just surge everything down. So I think it's a good investment long term if you play a lot, you know, with a small group or alone and stuff, because then you got to learn to adapt and become better, and I think that's what we've done. And in terms of pirating, I'd say we are some of the best pirates this game has seen, straight up, yes, and have, you know, 50 pirating videos to prove it. So we think it's a lot of fun to pirate, but we have missed fighting over content, and we haven't fought over content for half a year now. And the problem for us fighting over content here is we don't really like any of the player nations. When Tankless Friends reigned, you know, we didn't like them, and we couldn't join the opposition, which was Pokemon and Disaster. So we don't really have many choices to fight over content here. So That's why we have been discussing doing a server transfer. Our first server transfer, that is, because we've played since launch, and we've talked about server transfers a few times when things got a little boring or bad and stuff, but we've never done it. It's mostly on me because I'm pretty nostalgic and stuff, and I felt Selfira, and Selfira merged into Conviction, so now we're in Conviction. I feel this is home. So after I've gotten my estate set up and stuff, I don't want to leave anywhere. But the thing is, we've been partying for so long now without being able to fight. Oh jeez, I'm being spammed. I'm just fighting over content and stuff we haven't had access to for half a year, and we don't see it happening for a long time either. Because, even if Tankless Friends come back to roll over Pokemon Disaster again, we won't join them. And we won't join Pokemon Disaster fighting Tankless Friends. So we don't see it. We don't see any openings for some time. For us to fight over content, I mean, all 3 player nations will probably have to leave. Or at least the strong ones. Tankless Friends have left because Pokemon Disaster bored them off the server. I like the story where they're saying that they chased them off the server. I think that's really fun. I mean, Tankless Friends not only own content, but Pokemon Disaster almost completely stopped coming out. But yeah, they chased Tankless Friends off the server. That's how we're telling it. So yeah, where the hell am I? So yeah, we don't see us fighting over content here for some time, and Tangleshen left, and I think Disaster would have to leave, and maybe just Pokemon here. Maybe a strong East or West guild could fight Pokemon for content, because Pokemon, I see them as the lowest nation. But yeah, we don't see that happening anytime soon, because Pokemon Disaster are holding hands and free farming. Maybe Tankless Friends come back, we'll see, but it's just we don't see an opening for a long time. So what we were planning on doing was doing a temporary server transfer, because I do still consider the server home, and I don't want to leave it fully and stuff. So what the plan was that we'd leave our alts behind and just have them own all the land we have and stuff while we were gone, and then we could come back one day and have access to all that stuff, because I do want to come home one day. But yeah, we are discussing for real this time our first server transfer. We don't know exactly where we would want to go. Nothing is off the table yet, but we would want to go somewhere where the content isn't on lock, meaning there isn't just one strong guild that owns all the content and there's no one fighting them. Because we don't want to go there and free farm, and we don't want to go there if we can't fight the strongest guild that is free farming. We want to go there where there are somewhat even sides and then fight over content, because that's something we miss doing. We're just partying and partying here now. So yeah, that is the plan. And also something I should say is that I assume if we do server transfer, there will probably be some single individuals or guilds or nations that are delusional as fuck, and they will say that they run us off the server, which is as stupid as saying they ran Tankless Friends off the server, because Platinum and I have never been run off any server ever, and we've not even been deterred from moving packs or doing what we want to do. We've been on kill on sight with some of the biggest guilds and nations the game has, and it hasn't stopped us from doing stuff, because we've learned from years of playing, and years of playing with small forces or playing alone and stuff, to how to move packs in conflict and war zones without getting parted. And we've been parted so extremely little by these player nations. It's laughable how little we've been parted compared to how much we've parted them. My god. I'm currently making a pretty big video of us parting, the player nations and some guilds that are shit talking us and stuff. Mostly me. But yeah, they like to go a little off track and tell stories that they pirate us all the time. That's just laughable. I mean, it has happened, but it's so extremely rare that when they say, oh, they pirate us all the time. please don't be so stupid that you believe that. Ask them for proof of it. Tell them, okay, show me a couple of examples when you pirated them, and they won't have shit for proof because it hasn't happened. So and we have 50 videos, showing a bunch of times in each video when we were pirating the player nations and guilds. So we have the proof to go with it, but a lot of people that dislike us, or me rather, because I talk back more than Platin does, like to say that they pirate us all the time, and I'm sure they would say that they ran us off the server, but that's just bullshit, because they have no proof of it, and there won't be any proof either, because they're just so bad at pirating that I don't see. After years, I think I can say pretty well that I've met all the guilds and players and stuff that could pirate us, and we've been pirated so extremely rarely. It's not gonna go up a lot, it's just not. And we'll keep pirating single people or guilds or nations as much as we want, because we're just better at it. And we have all these videos to prove it, so by all means spread your stories saying that you pirate us all the time, but you have no proof. So yeah, and also I'm making this very salty video before I leave. I think I'll call it Sore Losers or something like that. So look for that one. I want to have it out before I leave. It's a very big video I've been working on, with just a lot of pirating and a lot of people that shit talking and lying and stuff, and I want to have that out before we leave. So not only do we have a ton of videos on my YouTube channel showing what is reality when people are saying they pirate us a lot and they ran us off the server and stuff, but I will also want to have this final nail in the coffin, because this is a big video showing where the closet stands. Is that a saying in English? I know it's in Norwegian. So yeah, we don't know exactly where we want to go or when we want to go. We want to finish our builds and gear and stuff first, but we do plan to server transfer at some point here, and it will be a temporary thing. So just if you don't catch me before we have transferred, I will be keeping my alt here, Enter Apex, his name is. So just contact him if you want to get in touch with me. We will still be hanging out on the same TeamSpeak server and stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions or just want to chat or whatever, just contact my alt and he'll get in touch with me. I think that is all. I've addressed all the 3 things and given some updates, information, and yeah, if you have any additional questions, just ask them in game or write a comment or something, and I'll try to answer it when I have time. I'm pretty busy these days making the builds, and also making this big ass video and trying to have a little bit of a real life. So yeah, I'm not sure when I will have time, but I will try to take time a little here and there. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're still here, it's probably been like close to 40 minutes now. So you're probably tired of hearing my voice. But yeah, thank you for watching, and just leave a comment and add your in-game name if you want to be a part of the competition to get a Vero skin. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.